So basically, in this video we're going to be making a nut and bolt system. So before I get started, I want to say a big thank you to all my likes and subscribers. India has been a country where I'm getting a lot of views and a lot of subscriptions and likes, and thank you very much for your support there. You guys do a lot of good work in CAD. A lot of CAD work goes out to India, actually. I've worked with you guys before in Arcadis. It's always been a pleasure. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, keep learning. In this video, let's get back to this. Also, Thailand, Vietnam, those countries, I'm getting good viewers out there in terms of my analytics. Anyway, let me get into this. Thank you everyone all around the world. But yeah, those countries in particular, big thank you. So select this bolt, and I can select an M42 size, and it changes to adapt. I can also change the, let's say, the length of this, I don't know, make it 100. That's the full length. And then let's say the plate, I've called this combined plate thickness because this bolt would be bolting on a plate on this side and a plate on this side. So the thickness would be this thickness plus the plate on this side, say for example, and all other plates wherever. Let's say I change it to 40, and let's say we've got a 10mm plate there. You can do that to adapt and it will fit in perfectly snug. What else can we do with this? We can manually change the diameter here to something else from this list. I've just pre-built in some default, the standard sizes for these particular sizes. These are British sizes, British metric sizes. Yeah, so by the way, Revit doesn't come preloaded with bolts, so it's very important to be able to know this if you're going to make your own connections. In part 2, we're going to add washers to this, which will be in between the bolt and the face, for those that don't know. And we're also going to make this viewable in fine and coarse modes. Sorry, it's viewable in fine mode, in coarse modes. That'll be in part 2. Don't worry about that for now. So without further ado, let's get started. File, new. Not project. File, new. Family. It's got to be metric, generic, face-based. Very important. You can also choose metric, generic, but face-based is the best. Now, the reason for that, this is what you get when you open that, by the way, if you don't know. If the reason it's face-based is because now that this is on this face, I can move it anywhere along that face, but I can't move. Well, I can move it off, but it's kind of stuck to the geometry of that shape. So, although it's moved off, it's still perfectly in line, yeah, because it's on that work plane. And now, if I move this up 500, that moves with it, and that's very important. Always remember that. Now, let's get started on this. Select the reference plane, say CS for create similar. I'm going to create one here. I would like to have them symmetrical, but too bad. Anyway, select it and say DM for mirror. I'm going to select these two, say RO for rotate. Copy, say place. I want to move it about this place. There, and there. Now select this and say CS. Create that there, and move it to that intersection. I'll adjust it a little. I should have just copied one. Now select these by holding the control button and selecting them, and say DM for mirror, and there you go. Now you can see a nice little hexagon here. First thing I want to do is I want to select these and say not a reference. The reason for that is that I don't want to be able to align to these because they're not really important lines when they're loaded into the model. All will be apparent later. You'll understand later when I load it in. I want to be able to align to this face that face, or most importantly the center point. Yeah, I don't want to be able to align to these, they're not important. Oh, they're not actually. Select them both, say MV. Now they're at the center. It's very important to have them there. Yeah, and these are all good. Anyway, now let's dimension these. Let me say DI for dimension. This, click. Say equal, yeah? This, equal. Oh, before you go on, you should do this before actually. Select this one, hold control, select that one, and say pin, so that they don't move. So if I move this, that does not move at all. Yeah, it would have done that anyway, but it's good to lock it in place just in case. Yeah, good practice. Always remember, good practice is crucial. The moment you do something silly, you're gonna have to find out what you did wrong. That's why we have good practice. We don't want to do silly things. We want to just do our thing and make sure it's all good. So I'm going to select all of these, holding control, and say new label. And I'm going to call this one F, representing the distance across the flats on the bolt head. Yeah, and I want it to be a type parameter. So we haven't actually modeled anything yet, but what we have done is we've set up the reference planes for each of these sides. Now in 3D mode, I'll keep that. We'll go back to reference plane, reference level, and we will say create extrusion. Select lines, pick lines there, pick this and lock, pick this and lock, pick, lock, pick, lock, pick, lock. Now let's say you forget to lock, or let's say you draw a line manually and you need to lock it to that. You can say AL for align, click this, click that, then lock. Locking is the crucial part. If I align it and then I change something with these dimensions, this will stay in place. Yeah, so always remember to lock. Say TR for trim, there, that, and boom, I think we're done. Yes, we are. Now if I move this up, you'll see they all move together. That is all we want to do. Crucial thing, always put reference planes down and align lines and objects to them. Never ever dimension to the face of an object. So never put a constraint or dimension to this extrusion face or that extrusion face. Never ever ever, because they will break. The moment you break one, your whole model's broken, and you need to redimension things and put reference planes in to make it work. We like to make things smart so that we can reuse them. Yeah, we don't create things that break. Yeah, leave it out. So select a reference plane, say CS for create similar. We're in front view, by the way. Any elevation will do for this. Select, I'll just click and say DI for dimension, and come here to the side, not here, never to the extrusion shape, face, handle, whatever. I think it shouldn't be an issue for this face because it's the default face, but always good practice, reference plane or reference level to reference level plane. Select that, do that, select it, say new, say call this one H. For the head height, say OK. Now come here, AL for align, click that, lock. And now you'll see the height, you can change it. Sick. Yeah, and that's the head done. Okay. Now we're gonna put the length down. But before we continue, let me show you what you can do with this. Let's say I want the distance across the flats to be 90, and the head height to be 100. It will never be these numbers, but there you go. And it adapts. Nice. Now, floor plans. Yeah, come to the floor level and say create extrusion circle about that center point. And I'm going to drag it off and check this to makes the center mark visible. AL for align, that to that, lock, click away, that to that, lock. Yep. And now I'm going to click this, and I'm going to say DI for dimension, diameter, click this. This is the only time you can align or label parametric things to lines when there's circles and curves. That's the only time you can do it. It doesn't break when it's curves. So say new, say D for diameter. Okay, great, nice. Great. Okay, now I'll come to front elevation. You can see it's gone up. I'll drag it down, click the reference plane, CS for create similar. Bring that across. Now DI from level to here. Boom. I'm gonna give that one, call it length. I'm gonna spell it out for this one. Make it an instance parameter. If you don't know the difference, you will do by the end of this video. I'll load it into the project and explain that. And I also want another one of these. Click it and say CS for create similar. Click there, great, nice. DI, level. I will call this one combined plate thickness. Keep that one as an instance parameter also. Okay, now AL for align, here, click, lock, done. Wow, cool, great, fantastic. Okay, what I'd also like to do, I'm going to click this and say Control C, copy, and then paste aligned to same place. That one's not locked, yeah? Oh, before we continue, one thing we need to do is we need to set this up as a bolt, so Revit knows it's a bolt. So come and click this thing up here, say structural, make it a structural connection, cut with voids when loaded, material for model behavior, steel, and I like to make it a shared parameter value. Say OK, and now when we select this one, and this one, well, not necessarily this one, this one's going to be something else in a minute. Let's hold control, select this and select that, yeah? Material, will come to material in a minute, but subcategory is bolts, yeah? This is going to become a void. This is what's going to cut your beam to leave the hole in there. I'll change the subcategory to void. AL for align. That to that, lock. That to that, lock. One other thing I'd like to do is I'd like to join, not the void. Oh, okay, yeah, that one. It's automatically done it to that one and makes it one element, so kind of thing. I'm going to select all of these and say HI for isolate. HR. HI. Okay, I don't know why that's doing that. Okay, doesn't matter. You get the point. I'll change it to wireframe. Now you can see everything. Make sure you don't cut this bolt with that void, okay? We're not cutting that, this is to cut something else. Anyway, that's your bolt done. Now, let's look at an example. M45 has a well, it has a diameter of 45. Firstly, we can do that. Oh, yeah, I have set that up, haven't I? And remember, the void already had that parameter in there before we copied it. Across flats, width across flats, 45. Let me highlight them all. Width across flats, 70. And the height, 28. We'll round it to 28. That's the maximum. Maximum was 28.26, and length we'll leave it as it is. Boom, done. There we go. Now, that one, and I'll press tab and select this one. We need to give them a steel material. Make this realistic. I want to put a parameter on there so that we can change it in the future or something in another project. Keep it as a type parameter, say material. That's the label. Now I'll come here and I will give that material a material. I don't have anything loaded in that's useful, so I will create a new material. We'll call this one steel. And now go to the library, type steel. Just pick a random one. Load that in. So now this material I created will take on those properties. And say graphics use render appearance. Not going to give it any cut or surface hatching. Class, we will call that metal. You can fill these out if you like, but there's no real need for this anyway. But just remember those are all there. Yeah, cool. Apply. Great. Now it's got a material. Well, I'm gonna click this and say hide. How do you do that? Hide element. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see the whole thing. So, how do you create a nut? I'll save this as a bolt. Oh, there's already one in there. Call it bolt 2. Actually, before I continue, no, I will continue. I'm going to load this into, let me close down all windows except, yeah, load into project. I'll load it into the grillage project, just so you can see. There you go. So the reason it's a different color is because it is it's a different material, I believe. Yeah, so that one is steel galvanized, yeah, and this one is just steel. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Anyway, we need to get the nut on now. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to create something new. It's very similar to the starting point, but I'm going to save as. File, save as, family, nut 2, save. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the void and delete that thing. Make sure you don't delete this thing, yeah? Now, come to floor plans, and all of these are already set up exactly the way I want them to be, yeah? But what I need now is I need to edit this extrusion. Double click it, say circle, create that, DI for dimension, diameter, click there, select it, say D for diameter, Boom. So HR for reset. There you go. Reset the temporary hide isolate. And now if I come here, I don't need this anymore for the nut, yeah? It's still going to be in the bolt. So I'll delete that. And I don't need the length parameter anymore. We're just cleaning up now. We need the diameter, we need the thing across the flats, and we need its height. Okay. So I'll load into project and close. I'll load it into bolt. Okay, I'll cancel that. Where is... Oh, okay. So I need to reopen. I'm going to close this one down. That was what I was making earlier. I need to reopen that bolt 2. There we go. So now I need to load this nut into the bolt. So load into project and close because I won't need it. And yes, I'll save changes. And I'm not going to place it anywhere. But where it's going to go is on this reference plane. Actually, I should have placed it somewhere. If I expand this down now, structural connections, nut 2. And the nut is modeled as a bolt as well because there's no option for bolt nuts in the subcategory, but it's part of a bolt anyway. So what I'm going to do is come to front, select the nut and say edit work plane, pick a plane, pick that one, and then flip it. Floor plans, AL for align, that to that, lock, that to that, lock. Come to front, and there we go. So when I expand this down, great. You know, I'm actually gonna change the length because it's unnecessary. What I want to do is have a spacing here, DI dimension here to here. I want it to be automatic because it's just unnecessary. I'm gonna name it length. I'm gonna use the length parameter, but I'm gonna rename that one. Rename length beyond nut. Yeah, and I'm just gonna drop it down to like 30. Well, 40. Oh, it's an instance parameter. I want it to be, yeah, it's an instance parameter. Yeah, because the length, the combined, I'm going to move this down as well. That one's an instance one, right? Yeah. Cool. Okay. Great. There we go. Hide this. So now I want to create those presets. Come here, click that, say new. It's going to take these default values and apply it to whatever I make it. So this was made as an M45. Great. Now if I want to make a new one, I'll say new type M42, and then I come here, find out the M42 values. So what is it? F is 65, D is, well, no, that's not it. D is 42, obviously it's 42, and 26 for the H. H is 26, D is 42 as the name suggests, and this would be 65. Apply. Now the crucial thing is that the nut has not changed, so select the nut, come here to edit type, Ooh, okay. We need to open that nut back up. We need to change all of these to instance parameters so that they can be edited. Load into project and close, bolt 2. Yes, I do want to save changes. Yes, I do want to replace, yeah. Overwrite existing version. Now, let me say CO for copy and copy one there, because I want you to understand how instance parameters work. If I change this to 42, that changes and that doesn't, yeah? That's what an instance is, because the parameter is for this instance only, not for this type of bolt. The type parameter is for everything, for all types, yeah? So they both have their uses. Just remember that. I'm going to delete that one out. And anyway, I'm going to select this one and say I want D to be its parameter, because this project has its own D, F, and H. This one has its own, and this one, this family we have open has its own. Now we need to tell Revit that we want them to be the same. So F becomes F, H becomes H. I don't really get what this default elevation is. It's not really necessary, but whatever, it's there. Now everything we've already put in will apply to these, yeah? So if I forgot to do it before, it still applies, because these have all been, it's basically taking the data. Now I'm trying to find a way to take all of these, put them into Excel, separate out the ones that we need, plug it into Dynamo, and tell Dynamo to create all of these types with the numbers we give it within a minute or however long it takes. That may be in a future video. Check the links below. Sorry, before I go, actually, I'm going to load into project. Say grillage project, that's the one it was on. So as you can see, that's the family there. Overwrite the existing version. Boom, done. So combined plate thickness, we'll say 30. It keeps it nice and tight, snug. If I want it to continue on, let's say 60 from the face, we can do that, and then we can pick the type. There's one called bolt 2 for some reason. Let me check that. Oops. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but point is, the rest work. So please like, share, and subscribe. Please keep educating yourselves here. I love you guys, of course, and education should be free. Oh, sorry, before I go, I'm gonna cut the beam with this, because we have a void in there. Now if I isolate this beam, you can see already there's a little thing there. I'll say HI for isolate element. There you go. Undo, undo. HI before, there was no cut. HR to reset. Ooh, whole model's in there. Okay, and I forgot to move it back down, so whoops, properties. So if I change that to 0, they all move with it. Brilliant. So as I said, like, share, subscribe, and tell all your friends. Thank you.